Hello guys, good to see you. Once again, I am back with a new tutorial related JavaScript. And in this tutorial, we are going to learn JavaScript events. These are most basic event list. And we are going to cover all of these in this tutorial. Our first click events are mouse click event, click, double click, right click. With that, we have mouse over, mouse out, mouse down, and mouse up. And similarly, we have events for keyboard, key press, key up, and our last 4 events are for our browser windows. Load, unload, resize, scroll. Basically, we use this event to call a function. These are most basic events in JavaScript. Without that, we have some more events. It's a huge list. That's why I decided to cover most useful and basic ones. If you remember in our previous tutorials, when we refresh our page, it runs our function. And if we use events, our function won't run by itself. Now, when we use one of the event, it calls our function. So without wasting your time, let's start the practical and try to understand how it works. Here you can see side by side, I open my Visual Studio Code editor and my browser using Live Server extension. And I already create a HTML document, index.html. And also you can see in my script tag, we create a function named hello and it's print hello everyone. In our previous methods, we call our function directly. So here I'm going to call our function. So I want to type hello, our function name. Then semicolon 2 in this line. If I save this file, as you can see, it's print hello everyone. So when I refresh my browser, it's always call the function and print our statement hello everyone. But I don't want to call this function like that. I want when I click a button, it's print this statement. For that, inside my body tag, I'm going to create a button. And our button name is click. And now I'm going to use an event and our event name is click. For that, we need to type on click. On click. And then inside the double quotes, we need to call the function which I want to call. And I want to call this hello function. So I'm going to cut this statement from here, cut and paste it inside the double quotes. And I'm going to save this file. Now you can see there is a button in my document. So let's click the button and see what happened. If I click this button, as you can see, it's print hello everyone. So I hope now it's clear how we can use events. Not only that, using events, you can call alert box also. Let me show you. So here I'm going to type alert. If I save this file, and this time if I click this button, as you can see, it's printed alert box and it's print our message. Hello everyone. Similarly, we have a lot of events in JavaScript. Let's see how to write it. If you want to use click event, in that case, you need to type on click. Similarly, if you want to use double click event, for that, you need to use on dvl click. And for right click, you need to use on context main. And if you want to call the function when you hover the mouse, in that case, you need to use on mouse enter. And for mouse out, you need to use on mouse out. And for mouse down, you need to use on mouse down. And for mouse up, you need to use on mouse up. Similarly, we have some keyboard events, key press. For that, we need to type on key press. It's going to call the function after press the key. And then we have key up event. It is also a keyboard event. This event call the function after release the key. And similarly, we have some Windows events. If you want to call the function when user load the browser, in that case, you need to use onload. And whenever user try to close the browser, in that case, you can use this event, unload. For that, you need to type on unload. And if you want to call a function when you resize your browser, for that you need to use on resize event. And for scroll, you need to use on scroll event. I'm going to cover all of these one by one in this tutorial. So let's back to the code editor. So again, I'm back to my Visual Studio Code editor. And now, at first, I'm going to create a paragraph. Paste. And inside this paragraph, I'm going to type some random text. Lorem 5. It means it's going to print 5 random words. As you can see, it print a paragraph. If I save this file, now you can see the paragraph in my browser. And now I want to use double click event in this paragraph. Yes, we can use it with paragraph also. We can use events with buttons, paragraph, anything. So here, I'm going to call the event name. And our event name is on DBL click. On DBL click. And after that, we need to call the function. Which function I want to call? And I want to call hello function. So if I press one click on this paragraph, as you can see, it's written nothing. It do not call the function. But if I double click on it, now you can see it call our function. And also you can see it return the alert box. Hello everyone. Similarly, we have event for right click. For that, we need to type on context menu. Let me show you. On context menu. If I save this file and I press left click on this paragraph, as you can see, it's written nothing. But if I press right click on it, now you can see it call our function. Our next event is mouse over. So when I hover my mouse on this paragraph, it's going to call our function. For that, we need to use on mouse enter. So here I'm going to type on mouse enter. If I save this file and hover my cursor on this paragraph, as you can see, it call our function and print the alert box. So whenever I hover my cursor on this paragraph, every time it's going to call our function. Similarly, we have opposite event, which is mouse out, on mouse out. For that, we need to type on mouse out. If I save this file and hover my cursor on this paragraph, as you can see, it's written nothing. It do not call our function. But if I remove my cursor from this paragraph, now you can see it call our function and it print our alert box. Our next event is mouse down. For that, we need to type on mouse down. If I save this file, as I told you, this event is similar with click event. If I click on this paragraph, as you can see, it call our function. Also, we have another function which is mouse up, on mouse up. If I save this file and press click on this paragraph, but if I release the click in our mouse, as you can see, now it's called our function. So when we release the mouse click, then it's called the function. Now our next event is on key press. It's a keyboard event. So let's type the event name. On key press. Before I save this file, there is a problem. We need to use this event in our body tag. Otherwise, we can use it with fonts. So I want to cut this event from this paragraph tag and I'm going to use it inside this body tag. And I'm going to set this one. And now I'm going to select my browser and I'm going to press any key. So I'm going to press enter key. After pressing the enter key, as you can see, it's called our event. Now let me show you some Windows events. These events also work with body tag. And our first event is on resize. So here I'm going to type on resize. After save this file, now if I resize my browser, it's going to call the function. Let me show you. As you can see, if I try to resize the browser, it calls the function. So every time you try to change the window size, it's going to call the function. Similarly, we have another useful browser event, which is on scroll. So here I'm going to type on scroll and I'm going to save this one. As you can see in my browser, if I scroll my mouse wheel, it's not going to call the function because we do not have scroll bar in my browser. For that, we need to overflow to this content. So I'm going to increase the paragraph size. So here I'm going to type lorem 500 and then I'm going to press enter. It add 500 word in my paragraph. So if I save this file, now you can see there is a scroll bar. So whenever I try to scroll my page, it's going to call our function. Now we have only two functions remaining, load and unload. If we reload our browser, it's going to call the function. And in our unload event, if we try to close the browser, it's going to call the function. But these two events are not compatible with browsers. These two events do not work in every browser. And as I told you earlier, before I end the video, I want to say there are a lot of events in JavaScript. But in this tutorial, I just covered the basic one. And don't worry, we are going to learn about it in our upcoming tutorials. So thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for our next tutorial.